Ladies and gentlemen, one of the best ways that you can support us here at Human Events and the work that we do is subscribing to us on our Rumble channel. Make sure you're subscribed, you hit the notifications so you'll never miss a clip, you'll never miss a new live episode, and we're putting them out every single day of the week. When we look at the situation, when we look at the understanding of what our country has turned into, I can't get past this notion that we are told that we have to send our troops. We've got as many as 20,000 troops right now in harm's way in the Middle East, 2 aircraft carriers, which two carriers alone, that's 5,000 souls apiece, which I've been saying all week those things are sitting ducks. But Vladimir Putin came out and as well pointed out the very thing that I've been saying here since the first carrier was sent, that those carriers are indeed within range of the MiG-31s and their Kinjal hypersonic missiles, the ability to speed to their targets at Mach 9 over 1,000 kilometers. Do we even seem to have any notion of what's going on? Meanwhile, we're told all of this is in furtherance of democracy, when our democracy is throwing people in jail for political cartoons here in the United States. Gavin, zoom out for a minute. Why is all this happening now? How is it connected?
This is all the hubris of the American empire and the American elites that run it. I can't even say American elites, the globalist elites who run it. We were once, Pax Americana, sort of this American empire based on, our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and all of these, preconceived notions about what makes our country great. But we've basically given up the pretense of even upholding those same principles, those same rights here at home. But we want to use the rhetoric, we want to use the PR, we want to use the marketing to continue to project it abroad at the end of a gun. And the world is constantly beginning to realize that we are, Joe Biden is an emperor with no clothes, essentially, that, we've hollowed out our country economically, spiritually, and otherwise. We don't have the moral high ground. We don't have this moral superiority. We're in no position to dictate to anyone about human rights or whatever other concept we du jour. And we've put ourselves in a position where we have now become overstretched militarily and economically, and it's being taken advantage of our enemies and some really bad actors across the world. And the world has never been closer to World War III. We have rarely in the past few decades ever been less safe. Terrorism is on the rise. Conflict is on the rise. Multiple regional wars. This is the whole world is on fire right now, and this is largely due not only to the Biden administration, but more broadly, this sort of globalist elite, their contempt for the everyday people, whether it's in their countries in Europe or in the United States, and their utter hubris. And they think that they can continue to dictate the terms, that they can continue to maintain a unipolar world order when it's becoming increasingly clear that we are no longer in a unipolar world order, and we haven't been for some time. We are in a multipolar world order, and if we want to navigate that, we have to operate under that assumption. We have to operate under that as a basis of fact, and the sooner we do that, and the sooner we can navigate that, the better off the world is going to be. And I think the only person running for president right now who understands the dynamics on the world stage, who understands how to achieve peace, how to put the United States in a position of peace and strength, both at home and abroad, is President Donald J. Trump. And we did not see this insanity unfolding under his first term. We didn't see this violence, this chaos. These were all the things they warned us about back in 2015, 2016, when Doug was making memes. They said that the world would be brought to the verge of nuclear war. That didn't happen. Instead, we saw, record-breaking, advancement.
To point out this, by the way, so if we know, and people remember the meme that Doug was sent to jail for was this thing about text your vote for Hillary voters. But that's not the only meme that Doug, a.k.a. Ricky Vaughn at the time, posted. There was another meme campaign that Doug and the merry band of 16ers were posting around that very same era, and this was hashtag draft your daughters. Gavin, do you remember hashtag draft your daughters? Can you explain that?
I do. I remember it very well.
And so this
And
campaign was based on Hillary's notion that she was extremely pro-war, and what it was essentially an anti-war meme campaign to make it look as though Hillary Clinton was calling for. So it played into the meme of feminism, which of course she was pushing, stand with her, I'm with her, and also the meme of pro-war at the same time, saying, yeah, she fought for her space in the office. Now she can fight in Syria. Now she can fight on the battlefield. There were a ton of these, but essentially, Doug Mackey was somebody who warned us that the world would be at war if Democrats got in power. Isn't that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, I don't think we're very far off from that meme from way back when in 2015, 2016. Listen, I think if we're going to try to fight war on multiple fronts, whether it's China, Taiwan, whether it's Russia, Ukraine, whether it's Iran, whether it's Hezbollah, Hamas, you name it. I mean, there's even potential conflicts in the Balkans. There's already a conflict in the Caucasus that you have been drawing attention to, the plight of the Armenian Christians. We're talking about the entire world being at war. There's conflicts in West Africa. If we really want to, be involved in all of these, and we really want to fight a multi-front war and engage in the sort of empire building that, the neoconservatives tried to do for the last 20, 30 years, well, we're running into a point where we're not going to have the manpower to do it. I mean, you see recruitment is at record lows. The core, American demographic that really supports these conflicts in terms of their sons and daughters signing up to join the armed forces, you're talking about conservative Christian families in the South and the Midwest. They're not signing up like they used to. These generational American military families are now walking away from the American armed forces. They're walking away from these institutions that they once cherished, they once supported, and they once fought for, because they realize that these institutions no longer stand up for them, that no longer represent their interests, and even further, they actually go out of their way to go against their interests in terms of them pushing this, woke ideology, this sort of America Last agenda. You name it, they're really going against the very people that they need to sign up to fight these wars. So we're actually in a very, very precarious state militarily. We've depleted our munitions and our military stockpiles for Ukraine, and now we're sending stuff over to Israel. I mean, we have just emptied out our military reserves, both in terms of dollars and in terms of actual bullets. And also now we're stretched thin in terms of the actual manpower. So I don't even know if the United States is prepared for the types of conflicts that may lie ahead. And honestly, if we look to history,
Gavin,
with sorry, yes.
no. So connect to me. Just a couple of minutes left. How is it that, and let me know, are there any other candidates that you see out there on the field that are poised to deal with all of these threats that are arrayed before us, or is there one that stands out in your mind?
Listen, there's no one else in the field on either side, whether it's the Republican side or the Democrat side, that understands how to achieve peace through strength, understands how to put the United States in a position of strength militarily, to broadcast that strength in a very tactful way, and to let our enemies know that we are not to be messed with, but that our ultimate goal is peace, not interventionism. And the only person who has a record of that, the only person who has continued to maintain a rhetoric supporting those positions, has been President Donald J. Trump. He was the president of peace. His foreign policy successes were massive. They cannot even be challenged by even his most vocal opposition, whether in the Republican Party or within the Democrat Party. Everyone understands that in the field of foreign policy, President Trump achieved what many thought was impossible, from North Korea to the Middle East and elsewhere. Had he had a second term, we would have seen even further developments in the Balkans and other regions in terms of developing peace in areas that have seen generational conflict over the last 100 or so years. So we need this man back in the White House now more than ever. If you're going to vote on one issue and one issue alone, and that's preventing nuclear war, ensuring peace, and making sure your daughters aren't drafted, to utilize the meme you referenced, then the only person that you should be voting for is President Donald J. Trump come November of 2024.